Greetings everyone, this is Faculty of Psychology at SRN International School, Jagatpura, Jaipur, Rajasthan. I am going to explain you about the topic human memory of class 11th psychology. And first we are going to learn about what is human memory, and then we are going to learn about few of its types. So let's begin. First I am going to introduce the topic to you. So human memory is the ability to encode, store and remember information and past experiences in the brain. Now encoding is a process of making mental representation of information. It can also mean transferring from short-term to long-term memory. Storing information means process of placing encoded information into relatively permanent storage for later recall. Third process is remembering, the process of retrieving what has been stored in short-term or long-term memory. So these three processes are very important when it comes to human memory. First is encoding, then we have storing, and then we have remembering, or we can say retrieval. I hope that this slide is very clear to everybody. Now let's move to the next one. In general terms, one can define memory as the use of past experience to influence or affect human behavior. So our human memory is used when we want to store our past experiences, and then we use them and we use our memories effectively throughout our life. Where memory comes from is a very important question. So memory is not located on one particular part of the brain, but instead there is a brain-wide process in which different parts of the brain work in conjunction with one another. It's like a distributing process in which there is no one designated area where we can say that memory is located, but the whole brain works together, all the parts of the brain, they work together and they form a conjunction with one another, and that's how the memory works. In other words, we also call it distributing process. For example, when riding a bicycle, the whole process is reconstructed by the brain in different areas. The memory of how to operate the bike comes from one area, the memory of the street paths come from another area, and the memory of bike safety rules in another, and the nervous feeling when almost failing or being hit comes from another part of the brain. So this is the diagram for the brain. You can see episodic memory, associative memory, conceptual memory, attentive memory, prospective memory, and we have motors and perceptual abstractions, perceptions. Here perceptions are formed, and executive abstractions. Then motor skills that we learn are here in the cerebral cortex, and this is the diagram for the human brain. Now we are going to move to the next slide. Here we are going to learn about the types of memory. Now there are several types of memory, but three major distribution, or we can say divisions, are sensory memory, long-term memory and short-term memory. Unlike the other two types, long type memory is extensive as it lasts a lifetime and thus has further subdivisions as can be seen in the diagram below. So first we are going to learn about the sensory memory. Now sensory memory lasts for less than 1 second. Sensory memories are the shortest term element of memory. In order for anything to enter our memory, it must be picked by our senses: taste, touch, sight, hearing and smell. Sensory memory makes use of the 5 senses in order to be developed. For example, the ability to look at something and remember what is looked like with just a second of observation is an example of sensory memory. So with this we can understand what actually sensory memory is. Now we are going to move to the second part, which is the second type of the memory, that is short-term memory. Now this is a short-term memory, or it is also known as working memory, and it lasts for less than 1 minute. And the shortest one we have is a sensory, and it's above that. Short-term memory is above sensory memory, and it is also called working memory. It is everything you are thinking of at the current moment, takes less than 1 minute to process. It is the information we hang on to while doing another process, and it tends to disappear really fast unless we make an effort to remember it. For example, when reading a sentence, you place the beginning of the sentence in mind so as to understand the rest of the sentence. So now we are going to learn about the third type of memory, and that is the long-term memory, and it is also known as a memory which lasts lifetime. Now this is a process of storing unlimited amounts of information over long period of time. Although there is the element of forgetting, long-term memory decays very little, and thus we are able to recall most of it. So basically we say that long-term memory decays very less, so we can recall all the things that are stored in our memory, in our brain, so we are able to recall that. So short-term memories can become long-term memories through the process of consolidation, which involves rehearsal and meaningful association. So when we try to rehearse something which is in our short-term memory, so if a stimuli comes and it is there, our sensory memory perceives it, then our short-term memory perceives it, and then we make up meaningful association with that stimuli, then it is transferred into the long-term memory, and then it is very less likely for it to decay. So unlike short-term memory, which relies mostly on an acoustic and to a lesser extent a visual code for storing information, long-term memory encodes information for storage, and that is semantically based on meaning and association. I hope that you have understood whatever I have taught you today. Have a nice day everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.